Welcome to Mirahiku Southland in New Zealand's deep south, a province defined by its wilderness, beauty and abundance. This week, for its 69th year, the region plays host to the best road cycling talent from around New Zealand and the globe in the country's longest running and most prestigious road race. 96 riders from 16 teams will do battle across more than 860 kilometres of southern highway. Spanning fertile farmland, majestic fiordland, a punishing climb up Queenstown's Remarkables, the iconic Bluff Hill, all leading to a winner being crowned in Invercargill at the end of a week of drama. This is the 2025 SBS Bank Tour of Southland. Day 4 of the tour turned into one of the truly epic days in recent memory, and not just because of its impact on the overall classification. All eyes were on Josh Burnett ahead of the Remarkables climb, and his PowerNet team did a good job early ensuring any dangerous breaks were kept in check. Ultimately, Craig Oliver and Alex Heaney were able to get away as the riders hit Kingston, with the duo earning a 2-minute lead at the bottom of the final climb, and that's when the drama started. As Oliver made a gallant bid in the lead up the mountain, Burnett and Matthew Wilson made their move in what would turn out to be a two-man battle for the stage. Catching Oliver, Wilson attacked, and Burnett answered the challenge, setting up what amounted to a 2-up sprint for the line. Burnett powering home in the final metres to claim a memorable stage win, putting the antlers up and going into the tour lead with 3 days of racing remaining.
It was awesome to see the Kingston fire back along the race. It's pretty surreal. I think a few boys might have got distracted and that's why we saw a bit of a pile up. But yeah, luckily we all got through pretty cleanly, and it's pretty cool to see that iconic part of Southland back in the race.
Still 50k and the brake hadn't gone, and as we went past the Kingston flyer, there was a crash happened, and I landed on top of someone. There was no damage to my body, but my front wheel actually is broken from that. But yeah, it was pretty chill until the climb, and then about a couple K before the base of the climb, it was carnage. Everyone wanted to be first wheel into the corner, so yeah, it was great.
Yeah, yesterday was my first time racing up the Remarkables, so I was happy with my result. I would have liked to be a bit closer to the front two, but I just couldn't follow them. But I think it's still close enough to be able to maybe try something the rest of the race. But yeah, they're definitely going really well, the first two.
3 Southlanders in the orange jersey for the week. I think it's a record.
Yeah, I know, it's pretty epic actually. But I see on the velodrome there's no name on the velodrome, and Tom said they're going to name it after him, so I don't know how that's going to go down. I think me and Marshall might have a few words about that, but yeah, it's been an epic tour for Southlanders so far, and hopefully we can keep it going.
So Zeno was the sort of the team leader. I've ridden with him in Asia for a few years, so I know him well, and he put the team together and he knows all the guys. And Macaulay Ford, he gave me a car to drive from Queenstown and was providing all the cars for the race. So yeah, and good tech for all the help during the race. Yeah, all the sponsors are amazing.
Yeah, it's been 10 years. It seems like it's gotten a little faster than I remembered. It's gotten very zippy. Thankfully it's an event that I really look forward to every year, watching the coverage, and they do such a good job, like putting out the YouTube videos and the daily commentary, and it's amazing. I've got the Porky the pig because I'm sort of the last man in the team at the moment, and he's a bit of a mascot for the team. But yeah, thankfully the wife is looking after the 2 little kiddos for the week, so I'm a very lucky man to be able to get down here, and it's a dream race. It's my favourite race anywhere. The kids, every day they send me little videos and things with about a 3-hour time difference between the zones, and so really nice to hear from them in the mornings, and they're encouraging me to sort of stay in the race for as long as I can, because it's pretty attritional out there, and suffering like a dog, to be honest.
Look guys, we're getting quite tired. It's a bit wet and underfoot, but still pretty much no wind, and I'm not sure how much rain will actually come, so I think it's just going to be more of the same as the first few days, and it's going to be fast for sure.
I hope it's a bit more relaxed, but I have a feeling that it won't be. Yeah, so there's a few climbs towards the end, so I think it'll be a tough stage. I think it's the longest stage of the tour, so yeah, I think it'll be tough.
Invercargill to Lumsden today, an interesting stage potentially here, Doug. It is a day in which some riders have decided overnight, I'm now out of the general classification, so can I take myself out a jersey or a potential stage victory?
A jersey or a potential stage victory, any of them would be a goal that all of them would have going into this edition of this year's race. The mood in the peloton, you can see, is pretty subdued. There's a lot of racing in those legs, and you can see here the onboard camera with Matt Zenovich from the Macaulay Ford Good Tech team. Fantastic cover. Does show you how close they get too.
Absolutely. 90 starters today of the original 96 as they make their way up to the principal sponsor SBS Bank and the team all out in support, as they have been all week in their 14th year of support of this tour.
Yes, the SBS tour couldn't happen without sponsorship from them, and of course the Southland District Council for today's stage. The course is a slight variation on previous years. We're not going out through and doing the gravel sections that we've done in the past, and the stage finish into Lumsden is very, very quick coming off the hill. So it is going to be a different course again this year, and the riders will have to adjust their sights, especially the sprinters wanting to hopefully have a bunch kick.
Heading out North Road in Invercargill as we get another close-up view as the speeds pick up here in the bunch. And today it's a little bit damp out there, so the riders have to adjust to those sorts of conditions. Could be a bit slippery on the tarmac.
Once again, straight into the action with the early prems. There's Marshall Irwood right at the front there for the Creation Science Mitre Q team. He'll be trying to win some points in lieu of James Gardner not being there. But Nick Kurgazu, all class, looks across to his right and says, hey, I'll take this one. He really does hunt the prems early on, Nick, and is really trying to gun for that, take that jersey off James Gardner's shoulders, isn't he?
Like a lot of the classifications, there is a great battle going on. They would have spent overnight with their team managers coming up with a plan of attack and knowing full well that there were some very early prems here. They're spread right through to Thornbury. A lot of points up for grabs, and if you can get yourself just off the edge of the bunch here, pick up some early points for yourself, you can very much catapult yourself right up the leaderboard.
The challenge there is the speed is so high at the start of these stages, trying to get off the front of this great race, which all these riders, there is one of the other, Mitchell Fitzsimmons from the Open Country, taking one of the sprint teams. This pace is so high, trying to get off the front of this is near on impossible.
Great team tactics going on there. We've got Mitchell and George Jackson from the opposing teams, and of course it's their teammates who are first and second in the Harcourt Sprint Ace, hence why they were getting themselves involved here as the pink jerseys start to come towards the front here. And again we see it is the Creation Science Mitre Q trying to block out the likes of the man Nick Kurgazu. Here comes Kian Watts, who's also well and truly up in this category. These guys are going hell for leather here to try and get as many points as they can. This is going to be a great battle throughout the day, Doug.
Fantastic contest. It's like they're contesting the sprint finish for the stage in the first couple of Ks of the race, and you can see that's pretty much the guys that are in contention for that jersey. Well fought over. Incredible.
Some fantastic team tactics going on as they try to nullify it amongst each other here as they shut down the likes of Kurgazu. Kian Watts, though, he's also a man very keen to get himself in the mix. He's one of the top sprinters, as we've seen over the week of this particular tour, including the New Zealand Criterium champs leading into it. So these guys are very fast indeed, making it a very interesting, a very challenging jersey to hold.
It is a very challenging jersey, and as we've said previously, the competition for these sprint prems often breaks the start of the race up and can often catapult the breakaway. You can see here the tour leader, Josh Burnett, he's trying to calm things down a wee bit at the front of the race. The power net guys will be just wanting this to simmer down a bit. They don't like chaos, they don't like disruption, and they're really trying to settle things down a bit by sending their tour leader up the road.
Local man Zenovich on the front there. Of course, they're leading in the team classification presented by Wednesday Cycles, and they're holding on to that red number, and they are desperate to try and to continue to do so each and every day here as we get another great shot as they descend down towards Wallistown.
conditions are very wet. You can see here the roads in Southland are designed to get rid of water, but in doing so often it puddles. You ride through those, it gets very slippery. These white lines are treacherous, and coming into Thornbury here there's often railway lines to contend with as well, so there'll be a lot of riders taking a very cautious approach, unlike these two who have taken off. We see this in all these stages. These two riders here are really putting in some effort. That looks like number 15 Keegan Hornblow from the Creation Signs Mitre Q Cycling Project. He is really putting some effort in at the front, splitting this up.
He's joined by the likes of Will Cooper there in the green colours for the Open Country TES. And a couple of other riders have made themselves available towards the front. Jack Clark, 103 for the Macaulay Ford in those yellow colours there. And we can see the bunch are starting to ease a little bit as they cruise up those little rises heading into Thornbury here. And the man in orange keeping himself nice and safe tucked in the middle.
Yeah, good strategy from these guys. There's one of the other riders. It looks like one of the Pista Corsa team from Spoken Cycles trying to get across to this front group. This could be ominous. Sometimes these groups, when they go early like this, as we've seen in previous stages, can stick. But there's some commitment on the front of the faces here. You really can tell how hard things are in a bike race when you look straight down the barrel and see how hard it is on the eyes.
Drifting back after taking a lap there, James Cratchit of the Latitude Cycling Team. And it looks like Dan Morton is the man that has made the junction as they enter into Thornbury, where, of course, they've got the Road Train Golden Kilo to pick up some number of sprints and, of course, time bonuses. All important. And it's Will Cooper that picks up a couple of seconds for himself.
Yeah, the introduction of the Golden Kilo, a fantastic idea. Time bonuses up for grabs. Not too relevant here for these chaps in this breakaway. They're not in the overall contenders sort of spot. No one slipped away from the bunch to do this, but still very hotly contested. You can see the Macaulay Ford's good tech team rider there, number 103. Jack Clark, the under 23 rider from Australia. He'll be loving these conditions. Just reminds him of home.
And you mentioned under 23, of course, and there's a few of them starting to get away in this break, Morton being another one of those ones there. As we've said before earlier in the week, 48 of them started in this year's tour of the original 96. Allowing some of these guys to go up the road here will put a bit of pressure back on Hollenby, who's the man in the pink jersey, taking it yesterday up the climb to the Remarkables.
Yeah, a hard right-hand corner here coming through Thornbury. There's a big, long straight that winds all the way out towards the Tau, and the riders will be hoping that they're out of sight, out of mind. A great shot of the back here of Josh, the tour leader, getting a push on his back from number 3 there, Kian Watts, his teammate. That often happens, a bit of a reassuring, hey mate, way you go forward. Someone touches you on the back like that, it's generally one of your teammates. But you can see there's a bit of action starting to happen in the peloton. Josh has moved right up to the front. Kian Watts also doing some hard work, trying to contain things, hoping this breakaway doesn't get too far away and perhaps destroy the race, take all the preems and all the points.
Just noticing Matt Wilson just drifting out to the centre of the line. He was on the back of the tour leader. Now, he purposely did that because he knows he doesn't have to roll through. He's second overall in the general classification, but he said, no, that is PowerNet's turn. They need to be doing the work here. You guys need to drive things. So you can see him purposely leaving that gap, allowing the man in orange to slip back in.
Yes, tactics will start to become a big part of this, and very, very clever on Wilson's behalf there to usher through and to get those riders to do some more work. He needs to wear them out if he's going to have any chance in this stage and later on, perhaps tomorrow up Bluff. The front group are settled. The front of the peloton is settled. Things have become a bit more organised here. Josh Burnett has got his PowerNet team. Pretty much the whole remaining lot of them, bar the ones that have been injured and had to pull out, at the front of this, driving this race. Interesting times.
Some beautiful landscape once again here for the riders to potentially enjoy as they make their way across in another big day here on the tour. It's been a long week for these riders in the heat around Southland. Today, of course, a bit damp. The wind's picked up in places, but nothing too significant as we get a fantastic shot here across the landscape of Southland.
Incredible scene, and of course dairy farming country. A lot of this area used to be sheep farming and has been converted in a lot of places to dairy, and the whole place is a protein producing area. The rain comes down, the grass grows, the cows eat it, and milk is produced. It is just designed for it, isn't it?
and absolute perfection for a bike race. To be able to hold an international event such as this around the back roads of Southland, crisscrossing all over the four corners, and this area here in particular, a beautiful area in which to ride.
We are very fortunate. You can thank the organisers and the terrain. A bit of a sticky bottle there for number 94. That is a bit of a trade secret. Dan Morton, you've been sprung. Pissed a course of Spoken Cycles. He'll go back and replace that empty bottle with a full one and get back into the group. This is the key point here, is sustenance, nutrition. A lot of these riders will go through between 5 and 6 or more bid-ins in a stage like this, and they are constantly on the look for food, and they're having to constantly upgrade and keep their nutrition systems going. There's an interesting shot, Julian. Don't often see that.
No, I think our tour leader has had a bit of a mechanical and is now making his way up through the convoy here. Interesting to note, no team members around surrounding him here, but he seems confident enough as he cruises from one van to another. The commissaires, they're the race referees. They'll be watching things closely for any rider. They're not allowed just to sit on the back of a vehicle. You can see Josh there. The brakes went on for a moment as the speeds adjusted, casually, comfortably and confidently making his way towards the front of the group.
Yeah, it is a wee bit unusual that his teammates haven't gone back. Normally, in the good old days, you'd have had the full squad back there sitting in front, bringing you through the vans just to save any confusion. But Josh is obviously confident enough in his own abilities, and the pace isn't on too much, and there's not a lot of wind here yet for him to get through. He's giving each of the vans a bit of a thumbs up. He's a very cheerful chap, Josh, a very popular sportsman in Southland.
So these vans, of course, they're in a particular order, and that is due to the fact of where their top rider is in the general classification. So the last van in which he'll pass outside of any of the officials will be his own team van. As we get a great shot here of the entry into the Josephville Hill. Some suggesting today this could be a point in which could break up the stage.
You would think so, but this group here are just looking completely relaxed. You can see the old road off in the distance round to the left is where it used to go before they put this new cutting in. The new cutting, I think, is probably steeper than the old road, and these guys look pretty relaxed. No one is going too full gas over this to split things up.
1 minute 55. So the peloton are not allowing them to get out by too much at this point in time, suggesting that they would like to reel them in towards the end of the stage. But these guys will still roll the dice. They know there is another opportunity to pick up some dollars, pick up some points, and again, potentially pick up a stage.
Which is exactly what I think the likes of Keegan Hornblow from Creation Science Molecule will be thinking. Here he is trying to take some of the preem money across the top, but it is really, really still a long way to go. There's a big flat section before you get to the end. The Caledon Lord All About Editing Josephville Hill Climb, one of the sponsors of the preems this year. Good to see the boys supporting the race. And here we are back again. This is good news for these guys. They need to get back as quickly as they can across the top of that preem so they can organise themselves for the finish.
Things looking pretty comfortable back in the main peloton. No great change as we look to see the PowerNet team. Looks like Ben Airy has been put on the front here, and local man Josh Haggerty, a former national champion in under-19 in Queenstown many years ago. He comes out each year, and they know they can rely on these domestiques to do the job for their tour leader.
They have done a power of work, these guys at the front, the PowerNet squad, minus Ollie Jones, so the onus then comes back more so onto these chaps at the front at the moment.
So our lead 5 riders will start to make their way out of Balfour, and again there is plenty of decent climbs as we look to the peloton who are starting to pick the pace up, and the time begins to tumble here with 15 kilometres to go. You can see the man in the orange jersey very much to the forefront.
Yeah, he's kept himself very tidy near the front of the race all day, really. It's quite a feat to do that, and Josh's positioning has been spot on. At this point in time, you can see some of the other riders. There's the under-23 jersey starting to move up to the front, and the Mitre boys in behind him. Also, the Australian Dival, the over 35. Man, he had a good ride-up. Remarkables yesterday. He is a real revelation and is coming on as the tour goes on.
And let's not forget the experience that man brings. He is a former World Pro Team rider. He's ridden the Vuelta there, one of the Grand Tours, and of course now he's here at the Grand Tour of the Tour of Southland. As we look to the three, though, that want to hold on to this win here. They know, they've heard that their bunch is coming here. They're desperate to pick up the final points here on the road. So the 5 has now been dwindled down to 3.
Number 72, the Latitude Cycling team member there, James Cranich from Christchurch, is putting in a huge turn. These guys will be really relishing this, because the more he does, the more chance they have of staying away. What an incline here, though. These guys have been away pretty much for the last 100 Ks, and they have really put in a big effort. This is starting to hurt.
Morton right up there in contention with them. The young man, of course, he's been a junior rules representative, as we see Clark here go for the Macaulay Ford Good Tech team to pick himself up some points. They have had an outstanding last couple of days here. They're very keen to hold on to that Wednesday Cycles team classification, as we've mentioned earlier on, but potentially also trying to get the stage victory, as we see the peloton spreading across the road. The tour leader there on the far right hand side, on your bike, 1.5 metres, very much starting to sniff round towards the front. There's a few conversations going on in amongst there as a mixture of teams start to head towards the front to try and shut things down.
It's incredible, really. They're like a series of sharks circling around a school of fish that they're trying to catch. These leaders are really starting to hurt. You can see it on their faces. We talked about it earlier. They are really putting in a big effort and breathing down their necks as the peloton. This is going to be tight.
These climbs out of Balfour as you make your way across to Lumsden are absolutely soul destroying, as the legs just start to really hurt, and we can see that as they're on the final climb before they descend down into the very quick finish into Lumsden, a finish that has been there since the opening in 1956. Who is going to take it out today? Will we see a bunch kick here as we see iBuilt starting to make themselves available at the front of the race, and we go from 3 riders, Doug, now down to the 2 survivors?
Yes, young Jack Clark's headed back to the peloton. Macaulay Ford Good Tech, that's enough for him. You could see he was really struggling. These 2 riders are really putting in a superhuman effort. This is one of the toughest things you can do in cycling. You've got a peloton breathing down your neck, you've been away all day, and you've got a super motivated chase going on. This is tough.
There's a lot of motivation back there in the peloton. The under 23 trying very desperately to get himself across here as 1 or 2 start to go off the front. These 2 riders have got to be in contention for the Macleay Jewelers most combative. The way in which they've gone out here today, they're not going to give this up. They're not going to make it easy for the chasers.
And the chasers are super, super tough. Breathing down their necks, they're all trying to get across in ones, which is interesting. The more that happens, the more chance they have of staying away. This rider here coming across now looks like he's got a cross and is going to catch them, but straight away it's Morton straight onto that wheel.
So we're back together now, and it's this 1 or 2s now just trying to get themselves off the front. This is where you can get yourself caught out as the pace eases, but you can see what those hills have done. You can see what those attacks are doing as we see most of the field starting to disappear out the back, and we are down to about 40 to 50 riders tops trying to get in there and take the win for the day.
There's a bit of frustration going on there from some of the riders. I think there's a wee bit of cat and mouse going on here. The leader on the road here at 135, young Austin Miles from Christchurch, on your bike, 1.5, another fantastic supporter of the SBS Tour with the Deer Crake and the team. She does a marvellous job with these guys. He is making a big effort here trying to stay away.
Another team that has moved on to the leaders board in the last couple of days for the Wednesday Cycles team classification. So again, they'll be trying to ensure that they can get themselves well and truly up into contention here as we see another couple of riders trying to get themselves across to the Cantabrian.
It's interesting, there's not one team really controlling all of this. There's been no domination and there's no coordinated chase as such, so all of these riders have all had a fair crack.
Here we go, Dan Morton. This guy's been sucked back into the field here, Doug, in the last few kilometres here. He's caught his breath and he's gone again with 1k to go. Surely not. Can this man actually hold out the field with this last closing metres?
What an incredible effort this man has put in. This is super brave. He's really putting his cards on the table here. He's not waiting for a bunch finish. He's saying, man, I spent all day out there. I've really tried my best. And here he is now with the fortitude and tenacity to attack them in the last kilometre. What a ride from this man.
100k warm-up, and now he goes out for the kilo burst. He's done it on the track before. Can he use that advantage to himself here to take on the field? And I tell you what, he is holding that at great distance. It is a very long street as they make their way down into Lumsden here. But Doug, I would suggest they're going to run out of real estate to try and shut it down on the man who's been a New Zealand representative in the juniors. And it looks like here today, folks, Dan Morton is going to take out the win. What a fantastic win it is indeed for the Pista Corsa Spoken Cycles rider. He held off the entire field after a huge day off the front, and then that 1k effort at the end.
Fantastic stuff. That was a ride from the ages. He was looking under his shoulder. You could see him looking back. He will be absolutely stoked, and his team will be as well.
The team will be absolutely ecstatic with that. And man, that has got to be one of the biggest efforts ever I've seen on one of these stages, to be sucked back into that field and then go again in the closing stages after only a few K of catching your breath. It doesn't happen often. They often just sit up, it's all over for the day. But this man, it was a do or die effort, and what a result he gets out of it.
Elation. This is the sort of thing these guys ride for. And he will have thought about this a lot over the last few days. He had a bit of bad luck. So good on you, mate. He is exhausted. You can just tell that man has put in a huge shift today.
No major shake-up when it came to the general classification today, with Josh Burnett continuing to lead at 15 seconds over Wilson, while Ben Dybel sits at 39 seconds and Whitehouse at 49. Keegan Hornblow gets the green jersey, taking it off his teammate James Gardner, while Nick Kyrgyzou shifts into third place. Will Heffernan ties in points with Keegan Hornblow, was away in the break all day on 20 points apiece. While Noah Hollenby from Timaru continues to lead in the under 23 category presented by Henderson Construction Limited. Ben Dybel has a 4-minute 16 advantage over Glenn Hayden and 17:21 over Kyle Gray in the silver jersey. While James Krasnius off the front all day long with a group of 5 riders, takes the Macleay Jewelers most combative. Macaulay Ford Goodtech lead by 2 minutes 14 over Latitude Cycling Team and On Your Bike 1.5 at 2:40 in the Wednesday Cycles team classification.
It's every cyclist's dreams from New Zealand to win a stage here. I remember 2024, I had a lot of unfortunate sort of mishaps in this stage. I crashed and then got a puncture straight after, and ended up with the last bunch coming through after that neutral over the gravel. And then I sort of wrote down in my goals that I wanted to do something special in this one, in the Gore stage, and with a drop chain in the Gore stage, I just thought, I have to get it done today. So yeah, just put everything out of the hat to take the win. So yeah, it's awesome, so satisfied.
Would you put your hands together for Dan Morton?
We wanted a small breakaway to go sometime near the start, and with no one too high up on GC, and that's exactly what we got today. So massive credit to the boys for controlling that at the start, ensuring the right guys were in it, and then riding the front all day, which they've done every day this week. So I couldn't be more proud of them, and I couldn't be more grateful to them either, actually.
Would you put your hands together for Josh Burnett? Here's your SBS BankTour leader.
Follow the action from this historic race with live race updates, full results and pictures at tourofsouthland.com.